Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on something pretty fundamental to, well, modern manufacturing. Polycarbonate.
Ah, yes, the stuff you find everywhere. Phones, cars.
Exactly. And we've got our hands on the Global Polycarbonate Market Report 2025 from Cognitive Market Research.
Right, so the plan is to sort of pull out the key bits for everyone.
Yeah, give you a clear picture, where the market is now and where it's heading, a shortcut to getting up to speed.
Precisely. We've done the sifting, so you get the crucial insights.
Okay, let's dive straight into a big number then. For next year, 2025, the global market projected to hit $23.5 billion.
Wow, okay. That's massive.
It really is, and it just shows how widespread it is. You see it more and more in automotive, for example. Lightweight, impact-resistant stuff.
Makes sense for efficiency and safety. And what about looking further out?
Good point. The projection goes out to 2033, expected to reach over $32 billion then.
Okay, so that's a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of what?
About 4.00% from 2025 through to 2033. So steady growth.
A consistent climb. That really underlines the demand, doesn't it, across so many sectors?
Right. And the report gives us that timeline context. Base year 2024 looks back a few years, then forecasts right up to 2033.
It's a pretty comprehensive view then. So how does it break down globally? Which regions are the big players?
Okay, so North America currently holds the largest slice. We're talking over 40% of the market.
40%, that's huge. What's the value?
Around $4.2 billion projected for 2025, but their growth forecast is a bit more modest.
Oh, how modest.
About 1.7% annually through 2033.
Okay, interesting. What about Europe?
Europe's significant too, over 30% share. That's about $3.5 billion for 2025.
And their growth? A bit stronger?
Slightly, yeah. Forecasted at 2.2% per year.
Right. But you mentioned growth. Where's the real action happening?
That would be the Asia-Pacific region, APAC.
Okay. What's their share looking like?
It's around 23% right now, but that translates to a massive $13.6 billion in 2025 value.
$13.6 billion. So significantly larger value despite the smaller percentage share.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Their projected annual growth, 5.1%.
5.1. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's clearly the region driving future growth then. Definitely the one to watch.
No question. But let's not forget the others. South America has over 5% share, around $823 million, growing at 3.6%.
Still solid growth.
And the Middle East.
Middle East, about 2% share, roughly $846 million in 2025, looking at 4.4% annual growth. Pretty strong.
Yeah, not bad at all. And Africa.
Africa's around 1%, about $446 million, projected to grow at 4.0% annually.
So decent growth across the board, really, but APAC is just, well, leading the charge. Definitely. And if we look at the types of polycarbonate, the report flags the standard purpose grade category as the fastest growing type.
Dear purpose, so the sort of general use stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It suggests a broad, increasing need for its basic properties across lots of industries. The workhorse, you could say.
Okay, that makes sense. So why are these regions growing? What's driving it specifically?
Good question. The report ties it to key industries. So North America, particularly the U.S., it's construction.
Construction. How so?
Using it for energy-efficient, durable building materials, windows, skylights, that kind of thing.
Right. Strong but light. And Canada.
Canada, more the electronic sector driving demand. And Mexico's interesting a mix, automotive, construction, and electronics.
So leveraging that durability and lightweight property across the board there.
Pretty much. Shows how versatile it is, right? Different needs, same material benefits.
Okay. What about Europe? You mentioned the UK and Germany.
Yeah, in the UK, similar to the US, in a way, more use in construction, roofing, glazing, insulation, that energy efficiency focus again.
Makes sense. And Germany.
Germany, more like Canada, the electronics industry is a key driver there.
Interesting. So even within Europe, you see different primary drivers. Construction here, electronics there.
Exactly. But the underlying need for polycarbonates properties, that's the common thread.
Right. And then APAC with that huge growth.
Yeah.
What's the main engine there?
Electronics is massive, especially in China. Think smartphones, laptops, all those gadgets.
The sheer volume must be incredible.
Absolutely. And also expanding automotive production, particularly noted for South Korea.
So mirroring some global trends,
Right.
but just amplified by the scale of manufacturing in APAC,
You got it. Moving to South America.
where Brazil was mentioned.
Right. Brazil's expanding electrical and electronics sector is a big factor. And Argentina is interesting.
Oh, yeah? How so?
A rising adoption driven by interest in sustainable and recyclable materials?
Ah, okay. So environmental concerns playing a role there already. That's a potential indicator for other regions, maybe.
Could be. And like Mexico, you also see general growth in automotive, construction, electronics across South America because it's durable and light.
Okay.
Hmm.
Middle East. You mentioned Qatar and Turkey.
Yeah, Qatar's growing automotive sector is a factor. Turkey, it's more the electronics and electrical industries expanding.
And just generally, more building, more infrastructure.
Exactly. Industrialization, big infrastructure projects across the region are creating demand. Cars, buildings, electronics. It fits.
Makes sense. And finally, Africa. Nigeria was highlighted.
Yes, growth in the automotive industry there, specifically adopting more lightweight components.
Again, that lightweighting trend.
Right. And more broadly across Africa, it's construction, automotive, electronics demand linked to urbanization and industrial growth, kind of fundamental development.
So building more things, needing versatile materials like polycarbonate.
That seems to be the picture. So stepping back, what are the big overarching drivers for the whole global market?
Well, the report points to a few key things we've touched on. Expanding construction globally,
Right. Roofing, windows.
increasing use in electrical and electronics, those casings, insulators,
Yep. Phones, laptops.
and growing use in consumer goods and packaging, just because it's strong, adaptable, versatile.
But it's not all smooth sailing, is it? There must be challenges.
Definitely. The report flags a couple of main ones. First, raw material costs. They can be volatile, high,
Yeah.
that impacts profits.
Always a factor in materials markets. And the other?
No surprise here. Environmental concerns,
Mm.
stricter regulations around plastics, general awareness. That's a headwind.
Yeah, you can't ignore the plastics issue, but is the market adapting? Any trends emerging?
It seems so. Two big ones mentioned. First, more focus on recycled and bio-based polycarbonate.
The sustainability angle, responding to those environmental pressures.
Exactly. And second, rising demand specifically in electric vehicles, EVs.
Because it's lightweight and strong. Good for batteries, maybe. Body panels.
Precisely. Lightweighting for range, impact resistance for safety, especially around battery packs. It's ideal.
So the industry is trying to be greener and hitching its wagon to the EV boom. Smart.
Seems like a forward-thinking approach, yeah.
Yeah.
Addressing challenges while tapping into growth areas.
Okay, let's get a bit more granular on how it's used. The applications. Which sector uses the most?
Electronics takes the top spot. Largest market share.
Makes sense. Just the sheer volume of devices, right? Smartphones, laptops, LED lighting.
All using polycarbonate casings or components. And it's being fueled by things like 5G expansion, the Internet of Things, more connected devices everywhere.
That combination of lightweight, strong, impact-resistant, and insulating. It's perfect for gadgets.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
What's the next biggest application?
Automotive. Coming up fast, actually. Experiencing rapid growth.
We keep coming back to that. Lightweighting for fuel efficiency.
And crucial for EVs. Battery housings, components, even some glazing applications.
Yeah, the auto industry is changing so fast, and materials like this are enabling it.
Absolutely. They need materials that help meet those tough targets for emissions, range, and safety. Polycarbonate fits the bill.
Okay, and we mentioned standard purpose grade earlier. That was the fastest growing type.
Right, the dominant type in terms of growth, because it's just so versatile.
Used everywhere. Automotive, electronics, construction, consumer goods.
Exactly. It's the go-to, well-rounded option for many manufacturers. Its broad utility drives that demand.
Got it. And one more segment highlighted.
Yes, medical-grade polycarbonate. This one's highlighted as the fastest-growing application segment overall.
Medical grade. Why the fast growth there?
Biocompatibility is key. It's safe for use in contact with the body. Plus, it's strong and can be sterilized repeatedly.
So ideal for, what, surgical tools? Device housings?
Exactly. Surgical instruments, diagnostic equipment, drug delivery systems, IV components, lots of uses.
And driven by maybe more single-use devices, advancing healthcare tech.
That's right. Plus, really strict regulations in healthcare favor materials with proven safety and performance. Medical-grade polycarbonate ticks those boxes.
The standards there must be incredibly high.
Oh, absolutely. Safety and reliability are paramount.
Yes.
So its growth reflects its ability to meet those tough demands.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up, this deep dive. It shows a market that's already huge, right?
Definitely substantial
Yeah.
and poised for more growth.
Fueled by just A huge range of uses: electronics, cars, buildings, medical stuff.
And with different regions playing key roles, especially that really strong growth coming out of Asia Pacific.
And underlying it all, this increasing push towards sustainability, recycled materials, bio-based options, that seems crucial now.
It really does. It's shaping development and use. So we started with that $23.5 billion market size for 2025.
Projected to hit over $32 billion by 2033, growing at that steady 4% clip.
But knowing the regional differences, like APAC's 5.1% growth versus North America's 1.7%.
And why they're different: construction here, electronics there, EVs emerging, that gives the real texture.
Absolutely. It paints a much richer picture of this dynamic market.
So here's a final thought to chew on. We've talked a lot about sustainability and electric vehicles being major influences now.
Yeah, clear drivers of change.
So how might future innovations in polycarbonate itself? Maybe even better recycling, new bio-based formulas, perhaps even materials with entirely new properties.
Hmm.
How might that further shake up these industries?
Interesting question. Could it enable even lighter EVs or maybe more circular economy solutions in electronics?
Or maybe lead to completely new applications we haven't even thought of yet. As the science advances and, regulations keep evolving, what's next for polycarbonate?
It's definitely a space to watch. The intersection of material science, market needs, and environmental pressure. It's bound to produce some fascinating developments.